This video is brought to you by today's two featured shirt, CNN, the most trusted name in fake news, and protecting and serving the crap out of you. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to High Impact Vlogs, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know.
And we've seen that ambulance still trying to make its way with the officer in critical condition, surrounded by police escorts to a different hospital for treatment.
Yeah, we're told that hospital is going to be University of Chicago, which is not far away from where Mercy Hospital is located. And as we said, we're trying to give you the best information we can. So this is the first time we heard so far of another shooter.
You're not going to believe this, but there was yet another alleged mass shooting. This time in gun-free zone Chicago, in gun-free zone Mercy Hospital. So basically it happened in a gun-free zone. That's gun-free zone times 2. And still, that evil gun somehow found its way into a hospital and started killing people all by itself. You do know that politicians think that guns kill people, right?
When you get right down to it, the gun is what is going to do the killing.
How is it even possible that this happened in a gun-free zone? I thought politicians promised us that all those gun control measures were supposed to keep us safe. In their minds, how can you get more safe than a gun-free zone within a gun-free zone? It just doesn't make any sense. Or does it?
Seeing 2 people get shot.
So at least 2 people get shot.
Yes.
Inside, just on the entrance, inside the hospital.
One was outside the entrance, one was on the inside.
Do you know if these were like passerbys or were they hospital employees? There's a report that
I don't know who all was shot because I was basically running for covering my own butt, but the one person was to my left, fell, and then I ran into the x-ray department and locked the door behind us.
I want to see a bystander on the news stand in front of the microphone and in their best nitwit, stupid ass voice say, "I don't know how this could have possibly happened. The politicians said that if we implemented their tighter controls, we would all be safer. I can't think of tighter controls than a zero-gun hospital within a zero-gun city. Can you? Why aren't the criminals obeying our political overlords? Why do these things keep happening to us? Why are all these guns disobeying all these anti-gun laws? It just doesn't make any sense. Please make more laws so that we can be even more safe, Mr. Politician Man." Maybe the answer is that we need to make stricter gun laws. But how can you get any more strict than a gun-free building within the boundaries of a gun-free city? Seems like that's gun-free paradise. Hey, maybe the answer is that gun laws don't work. Maybe, just maybe, criminals will still use a gun no matter what politicians scribble on paper in Senate and congressional chambers. And just maybe it'd be better if government stayed the heck out of our business and just left us alone. How the hell after this can you push for more gun control when the current gun control measures are an utter failure? But you and I both know that the insane psychopathic narcissists will use this event to push for even more gun control. Because hey, we gotta take guns out of the hands of good and peaceful people because bad people do bad things. Makes a lot of freaking sense, doesn't it?
Describe that you're live on ABC 7 right now, sir, by the way, just to let you know. Describe the effort to get out of harm's way, what you saw in the lobby as those shots were being fired.
When I first made the announcement that there's someone out there shooting, there were people sitting in the waiting area. We all stood up at one time and we just turned and started running towards the front of the hospital, and security was trying to direct us into rooms and told us to lock the doors behind us. It was chaos. It was just mass chaos. Once he entered, he just started shooting random.
What kind of weapon did he have as far as you could tell?
It looks like a 9mm.
Because there were early reports it was an assault rifle. I mean, you didn't see any big
He didn't have
guns.
no long gun.
Did you guys hear the reporter? He said there were reports that a guy had an assault rifle. It kills me when they attach that modifier to an inanimate object. You never hear of assault baseball bats or assault knives or assault vehicles, but somehow assault rifles are all over the place doing major damage and killing a lot of people. Because you know, guns are what's gonna do the killing, right?
When you get right down to it, the gun is what is going to do the killing.
So this guy's eyewitness testimony is that there was no long gun. If you start hearing CNN report on the presence of a rifle, you'll know there's a serious contradiction.
This was a handgun.
Just with a handgun.
And he was just firing shots one after another.
Right.
And did it seem like he was just firing in all directions, or what, was he going?
It looked like he was turning and pointing at people at random. It looked like he wasn't shooting any one person here. Just started shooting.
And again, you saw at least 2 people being shot in the lobby.
Correct.
And then that's when you ran for cover.
Correct.
And just to be clear, was this in the ER or was this like a family health center area?
No, this was in a clinic area where just minor injuries.
So this wasn't like the emergency room of the hospital?
No, it was not.
We heard there was a woman. We heard there was a woman outside that was shot as well. Did you see that encounter?
Yes.
And describe that encounter. The woman being shot outside, just outside the entrance.
The gentleman and the lady looked like they were walking towards the parking area, and the gentleman turned around and shot 3 times in her chest. Then when she fell to the ground, he stood over and shot her 3 more times.
And you witnessed all of this?
Yes.
What was going through your mind as you were watching it?
I thought it was like unbelievable. It's like a movie scene.
Like a movie scene, huh? Kind of like a movie scene with, I don't know, shall I say the word actors?
Police are now confirming what they call, quote, multiple victims from the incident at Mercy Hospital and this partial evacuation of the hospital. As you were listening to that witness talking about people coming out, that is a familiar sight, people coming out with their hands up at police order, and also just so they're not confused with what is an apparent shooter in this case. We certainly are not aware right now whether there is one shooter, more than one shooter, whether that person has been shot by the authorities, whether anyone is in custody, or whether this is indeed a classic active shooter situation where shots are still being fired. Chopper 7 is closing in on the Mercy Hospital complex now between 25th and 26th and Michigan, as Chicago police are urging people to stay away from here, clearing that area. A massive police response at this hour to a situation that has become somewhat common at hospitals and medical centers. The I-Team has reported on numerous occasions from various cities and suburbs around Chicago where there have been acts of violence inside hospitals. It many times is an emotional scene where people are acting out of great emotion, and while we don't know anything about what has prompted this, it certainly has been a challenge for law enforcement over the last few years, as there have been incidents of shots fired, people attacked with knives in emergency rooms. In some cases, local jail prisoners who have been injured are taken there, and then there are security problems with them. But in this case, all we know is that shortly after 3 o'clock, the initial reports came in of gunshots at the Mercy Hospital complex at 25th and Michigan, and now Chicago police saying reports of multiple victims from the gunshots, and they're asking people to avoid the area. There you see what we're talking about is just south of the South Loop, just east of the Ryan Expressway and Michigan Avenue. This is a large hospital complex that, in fact, was going to be the Olympic Village at a time when the city was still in the running for that. Live pictures now from Chopper 7 of the scene, with the authorities cordoning off that intersection near the hospital complex. A big law enforcement turnout, as you would expect, as they try to get their arms around what...
Guys, the massive number of policy enforcers that show up to things like this always amazes me. Think of the wasted time and resources for all these people to just stand around once they show up. Think of all the real crimes that are taking place elsewhere in the city that they could be putting a stop to. Just seems like gross mismanagement and a misguided allocation of a huge amount of manpower and resources. But then again, that's exactly what government is. a huge waste of money, and an abuse of power.
Shooter is still in possession of a weapon and is still posing a direct threat to those who are at the hospital.
And Chuck, I know information is still coming in as we speak. Do we have confirmation right now if these shots were fired indeed inside the hospital?
Well, of course, until the police department actually puts somebody on the record on television to explain this, we're not certain.
Until an authority from one of the most corrupt police forces in the nation comes on TV and feeds us a line of crap about what's supposed to be going on, we'll pretty much be in the dark.
All we can report is that the police officially have told us that the shots were fired inside the hospital. There are some anecdotal reports that the emergency room might have been involved, that the east lobby was the location. You know, many times when these things happen, you start getting reports from people who are seeing things from different locations. They're not necessarily trained observers in things like this, and so we're kind of at the mercy of what the police are telling us. And
that's a pretty pitiful state to be in. The dishonest media is at the mercy of what the largest organized crime ring in the city is telling them. Guys, whether this event was real or staged, we already know the end result of this coverage. More control. Even though maximum control still wasn't enough to keep people safe. Keep your heads up, hold fast to your rights, believe nothing, and question everything. If you want to support more content like this, the Patreon and PayPal links are in the description. If you get something out of this content, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. I'll see you guys in the next video.